Hello and welcome. We've had a few holidays here in the States since the last video, and I caught a cold, yay winter, but that didn't stop me from making a ton of progress. Whatever it takes to win, right? Anyway, let's take a look at what I've accomplished. First up, I gave the character some color. It's just a temporary look. Ultimately, the character will be based on whatever the theme ends up being, and I haven't really decided what that's going to be yet. Doors now have different levels and will require the corresponding keycard to open. I also added some token situation doors. And I modeled and coded a basic surveillance camera. The camera repeatedly sweeps in a set pattern. To make it easier to see the different camera behaviors, I added custom representation models to the editor. This feature allows the editor's brush to display a custom model for any given object instance. In this case, the representation model shows the sweeping direction of the camera with an additional green arrow. I'll be adding an arrow to the doors as well to show which direction they open. I chose this approach over a user interface because having the custom appearance be in the game world itself will allow me to see how objects interact with each other and their relative spacing. Next up, I spent some time updating the Linux build. I needed to implement several changes to how system windows work, and I took some time to implement gamepad support on Linux as well. This engine is designed to work natively on supported platforms, so there won't be any porting. The benefit to this approach is you can give the best possible experience on every platform, but there's a proportional amount of extra work too. The game looks a little broken, but this is how I expected it to look. The OpenGL renderer has some issues with skin geometry, making the character look like a cone, and the level itself isn't rendering because the Linux build doesn't know where the cache geometry is yet. How this stuff works isn't finalized, so fixing them is low priority. After that success, I got ambitious and decided to see how the Windows Swift project was coming. Swift is the programming language this entire project is written with. It's an open source language maintained by Apple. Apple handles their own platforms and a few Linux builds, and some awesome people have been working hard to bring Swift to Windows. Alright, what if I just stick the libraries in there myself? Maybe I need a newer build. Well, that's not good. Yeah, I guess I'm not doing this today. The last thing I worked on is audio. I created a cross-platform sound library that handles spatial audio and soundtrack audio. The library wraps the native sound library for each platform. This allows me to utilize advanced platform features like speaker tuning and multi-channel surround sound, while still using a common interface. This is something using an older common API like OpenAL doesn't allow you to do. I created a WAV file loader that can handle PCM and float data. I also created an OGG loader which can handle 16-bit Vorbis data. Part of that was grabbing the source code for the Vorbis and OGG libs and compiling them into Swift modules. And that was fun. The library is pretty simple. You create a mixer, create a buffer, ask the mixer for a source, attach the buffer to the source, and then hit play. After setting object positions, the audio will also render in 3D. Well, that's it for my progress this time. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to subscribe. This channel is dedicated to this and will contain other content, so don't be afraid to turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.